Alright, here's a day shot of my setup here. Right now I don't have the Epicenter connected, only the amp, because I want to tune this first before I put this in. I do have to add an Epicenter though, because I like listening to my Mexican music, so it is going to add a little bit of distortion to the music, but I want to make sure that this is properly tuned 100%. That way, only when I listen to a little bit of Mexican music, I can adjust the knob for this and introduce a tiny bit of distortion. But the main thing is I want to make sure that this is properly tuned. But there's our little setup here. So I'll show you guys real quick how to tune your amps. Alright, we got our fuse already. We ended up putting our fuse right here. So the wire that's from this area here comes from the amp, and then it goes up and into this fuse block, and into the fuse block right there. You can see it right there. Down to here and to here. Somebody in my last video said that I shouldn't be tapping into this fuse, because what if the amp short circuits and it blows this main fuse, because I guess this is a main fuse for the truck. But the fuse in here is rated for 100 amps. The one over here is 175. This one's gonna pop before this one ever does. So unless there's a short between here and there, which is about like only 6 inches, then it'll pop that one. But otherwise, this one's gonna pop first before anything else. Let's test it out. I'm gonna put the key in. Turn it on. Should turn the amp on. Well, our radio's off, so let's turn our radio on. Okay, there we go. Bam. We got power. So now, before we button everything up, let's go ahead and tune our amp here. So we're going to be using an SMD DD1 to properly tune our system. This is the same thing I use on my car and my truck. So the first thing we got to do is find where the head unit distorts. So instructions are pretty much here. I'm not going to go over it. I'm just going to go ahead and show you real quick. But basically I need to plug in. I'm going to be plugging in my phone, because that's what I'm going to be using mostly to play music through. And I can use Bluetooth, but I'd rather just go through the auxiliary here to get much cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and start tuning our amp, because we know where the head unit distorts now. Alright, it got dark on me again, but I properly tuned my amp. All you gotta do is put it down to track 7 on 40 Hertz, and then slowly creep up on your gains until you get distortion, and then back off a little bit. For some reason I think this is a very good amp, honestly, because I tested everything. My gains are pretty much all the way up, and there's no distortion whatsoever. So now I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my Epicenter, which I know for sure there's gonna be distortion with this, but again, it's a little sacrifice that I have to do to listen to my kind of music, so I'm okay with it. Alright guys, everything's connected. Sorry about the lighting, man, it kind of sucks in here, but I'm gonna show you guys real quick how I connected everything. So on this particular Epicenter, we have our 12 volt remote and ground, and I basically tied it in to here. You can see the black wires there. I'm sorry about this bad quality, man, but it gets so dark here so early. So we got everything connected here, remote in the middle, ground and power. We have our RCAs here. So we have, these are our RCAs. These are our inputs that are coming from the head unit. This one's our output that's going over to the amp. So the amp is right there. So everything gets transmitted here first, processed, and then sent over to here. So all this is controlled with the knob, so I don't have to use it all the time. Most of the time I'm just going to be using the amp, but when I do play my Mexican music, I'm going to be using some of this right here. I'm going to vacuum all this area up and put our seat back on. Alright, I'm going to show you guys real quick how to install your bass knob into your dash. So first thing we got to do is open it up. So we have to remove these 2 screws here to open this casing up. Just gonna pull the knob out And then we're left with this here. I'm gonna find like a little washer or something that I can put here to keep it in place. Alright, once we have this little piece here, we're just gonna find a drill bit that measures just around the opening of this, nice and tight, and then the knob is gonna keep it in place. So let's grab our dash piece and find something that fits in there. Alright, this part's a little iffy, but so our Epicenter has 2 knobs, and I want the other knob to be here for our bass. I can't put it on this side because there's clips, and this side's still a little iffy. And I could put it all the way up here, but I don't like how that looks. I want everything to be around the same area. I think this is a good area, but it's a little iffy because we do have that amount of space right there. So it's going to be a little tight, but I think we can do it. I'm going to make that hole a little bit bigger and see if we can fit it in through there. Alright guys, there we have it. Just need to clean up the panel, but bam, there we have it, nice and neat. I did have to do a little bit of trimming back here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I glued it down. That way it won't go anywhere. But nice and clean, look at that. Alright, let's go install this back in, see if it works. And we're almost done. Seats are back in. Radio's back in. Everything's back reinstalled. Let me show you guys the amp and everything. What the hell? So here's our amp, and our speakers are nicely installed already. You can see all our wiring there. Everything's buttoned up. We were able to keep our jack there. Now this is how our buttons ended up. We have our Epicenters and our amplifier knob there. Let's give you guys a quick demo. I know some people wanted to listen to some Chalino, so I'm going to put some Chalino Sanchez on. Alright, so there's no distortion whatsoever. I tuned everything properly. If you guys hear a little bit of distortion, it's because of the camera I'm using. I don't have a proper mic to show you guys the proper bass on this, but I can promise you there's no distortion whatsoever. Even with the Epicenter, obviously I don't put it all the way up. I only crank it probably like 1/4 of it, and that's just for Mexican music. I'll play some rap music right now. I'm gonna put it all the way down, and let's try some rap music real quick just before we end this video. Alright, here we go. I like this song because it slaps. Alright, for those of you just tuning into this video, this is my setup. We got two 12 NVXs here, one sealed subwoofer box. We got a Hyphonics 1200 amp here. We got 4-gauge wire going to it. We got our Epicenter here. We have all our wires running from this area here to here, down here, and we're coming from there up to the battery. Our signal wires are going in here to here, all the way back here to our radio, which this is a Pioneer. There you go. That's the model number right there for our Pioneer. Bam. Here are our controls. Nice and sturdy. Everything's nice and sturdy right here. Bam. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys like the video. Leave your comments below on what you guys think about the system. Leave your questions below and I'll make sure to answer them. Make sure you guys support the channel by checking out the website. That's going to be it, so make sure you guys tune in until next time.
Never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably $sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my